Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Syahril bin Samsudin. My matrix number B0518200062. Today I want to present my Bachelor Degree Project 2 entitled Development of Flatten Soda Can Machine. I am supervised by Dr. Raja Izamshah bin Raja Abdullah. So the main purpose of the project is to get an idea and to fabricate the product. This may focus on development of reverse and unroll the soda can for recycling purpose. To produce a machine flattened soda can, there will be a better way to recycle a soda can. This may give a long life cycle for raw materials such as aluminum cans. This is important for recycling aluminum cans that save amount of waste handed into landfills. Nowadays, we can see that there is no yet machine used to cut the recycled cans in cylindrical shape to be a sheet form. The aluminum scrap will be remelt, but it will increase energy cost and the operation is very complex and dangerous. Malaysia government taking a part of the 10th Malaysian Plan in 2011 until 2015 to adopt waste recycling as a long-term strategy for municipal waste management. The transportation cost is also high for moving such amount of waste to the recycle center. When we talk about the new way to recycle aluminum cans, we may skip some process in life cycle of cans. So, we need to create a machine to recycle aluminum cans to make another useful product, for example as souvenir or others. So, the objective of my project is to study the development of reverse and unrolled soda can machine for recycling purpose, to design a safe machine to cut the aluminum cans and flatten it into sheet form, and lastly, to fabricate the machine in purpose to recycle the waste aluminum cans into a flattened sheet. Scope of my project is available size of aluminum cans in Malaysia market, identify the best movement mechanism and cutting method, and lastly to study the potential of machine to be integrated to the others machine with further step and function. For the literature review, I will study on some articles and journals such as Aluminum Alloy T004 written by Azum in 2012. This may identify the material properties of the aluminum cans. Next is Recycling of Aluminum Beverage Cans written by Laila in 2018. The journal is to investigate the melting process of recycled aluminum cans. Next is Beverage Can Life Cycle written by Crown in 2018. Through the recycling, its value is retained and make it for the future. Next, Trends in Packaging of Food and Beverage, written by Neil Farmers in 2013. This may study the market available size of the soda can. From the literature review, I can summarize that at production, aluminum is collected from bauxite ores and then be sent to manufacturing process to be molded into cans, then transport the cans to the store and distribute to the vendor companies. After that, the usage. The can is come up with the some available size of cans depend on the beverage volume in one cans. And lastly, for recycling, the aluminum are be shredded, remove any color coating before it be melt in hot furnace. So I decide to design a flattened soda can machine as a new way to recycle aluminum cans. For the methodology part, here is the flow chart from the start until the end of the project. To achieve objective 1, which is to study the development of reverse and unrolled soda can machine for recycling purpose, I have to do some research and study on the article and journals available. To achieve objective 2, which is to design, a safe machine to cut the aluminum cans and flatten it into a sheet form. I have do the project planning and then concept design sketching. After that, I can do the final design in CAD/CAM by using the Fusion 360 Autodesk. And lastly, for the objective 3, to fabricate the machine in purpose to recycle the aluminum cans into a flattened sheet, I have do analysis before I fabricate it. Here is my idea on design a machine. At phase 1, the machine must be able to cut upper and lower base of the cans. At phase 2, the machine must be able to cut a middle of the body of the cans. At phase 3, the machine must be able to unroll the part that has been cut. And lastly, at phase 4, to flatten the part into the desired shape. To get the final design, I have do a comparison of 3 model by using a scoring and screening method. Here is the result of the comparison. The design A got the highest value, which is easy to use because it has a less button. Next is easy to manufacture. It use a less material and less process. The sustainability, it got the medium, and safety of the machine also medium. We can see the material and parts to be fabricated at design A, which is a material of plywood, GI metal, mild steel, and aluminum rod. It is different from the other design, which has the most complex material for design B and also a complex material for design C. So that's why I choose a design A to be fabricated. Here is my result of fabrication of the flattened soda can machine. From the research and some analytical and considering the function of the machine in purpose to cut the cans and flatten it into the sheet form. So we can see here there are some stage. Firstly, cut upper and lower base cans, and then go to the cut middle body cans, and then roller mechanism, and lastly a stamping process. I have do some structural analysis for the cutting force. I got the final result of cutting force is 200.79 Newton, which is the cutting tool must be more than 200.79 Newton. So I decide to choose from the 3 motor with the different of RPM, 1000 RPM, 2000 RPM, and 4000 RPM. And the final calculation I got for the 4000 RPM is 438.65 Newton, which is the motor can generate the more cutting force to be able to cut the cans. Then pneumatic cylinder, I have choose the more diameter that can give the more force to do a stamping process. And lastly, for the roller mechanism, I use the spur gear to execute the roller. So I decide to use a motor at a lower RPM to generate the slow motion of the roller that need to flatten the soda cans. Here is the functionality of the product. At the cutting phase, the pair of circular saw have been used to cut the upper and lower base of the cans. They may take several times to completely cut the upper and lower base. Next is grip and middle cut. One cylinder with a small cutter at the end of the piston have been used. Next is a roller phase with two different sizes of gear used and attached of the rubber mat to roll the cut cans. And lastly, at the stamping process, we use the pneumatic cylinder to stamp the unrolled cutted cans. In cost analysis, after I structured the component and parts of the machine, I do the bill of material, which is the total cost is 223 ringgit and 93 cents. For discussion, as you can see at roll 1, the soda can that cannot be completely flattened until the roll of 5 run. In my view, this project will need to be developed more in the future to improve the functional and output result. From the output result, the cut cans need to run for more frequently to get the best result. For the improvement and recommendation, at the cutting phase, the motor used for the cutting mechanism need to have more torque to be able to cut the soda cans. And also, the cutting mechanism can be replaced by a laser grave operation. Next, for the gear and roll parts, an additional roll mechanism is needed to get the cans be more flattened and get the more best result. For the mechanical parts, the mechanism for the transmit from the cut process to roll process need to be replaced to get the more frequently movement. And lastly, at the output, to increase the endurance of the functioning mechanism that can be reduce the maintenance costs. As the conclusion, the objective of the project is achieved. This machine fabricated is a new way to recycle the cans. The machine is easy to use and place anywhere with minimal parts used. The machine also have the opportunity to be applied with new technology to make it more efficient and make more profit for the user. So, the project has the potential to be cooperate with another function use. That's all from me. Thank you.